Okay, and then I'm going to share my screen. So what I have is I have a short PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to go through very quickly. And then I'm actually going to go into Cruise Complete via Agent Universe so you can actually see it in person. So if you, how new is everyone to the travel agent business? Maybe I should ask that real quick. Let's see, open the chat here. 10 days ago. Okay. Well, this is something that I did not embrace Cruise Complete until about 6 or 7 months ago. So my name is Trish Branna, and I'm a double silver consultant, and I've been doing this about 16, 17 months. And I kept hearing about Cruise Complete, but I didn't really do much with it because, again, there's just so much in the beginning, to learn. So it's a wonderful tool. It is found within Agent Universe. So definitely, if you've not signed up for Agent Universe yet, it is one of the first suppliers that you will see under the Travel Cafe. Make sure you get signed up for that. So here is the picture of what it looks like, and then there's how to register. There are several different tools within Agent Universe, and you're definitely going to want to take the time to embrace those. So I get it when you're brand new and you're being fed through a fire hose. So it's like, oh my God, what do I do next? But in the near future, definitely put this on your list. And once you sign in, it's going to have you create an account. And then you will have a Agent Universe sign in. And then Cruise Complete is one of the options, which you'll see when I actually go into it via Agent Universe. There are many options there. But once you see Cruise Complete, one of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do getting started, and you're going to want to do the training. And then after you complete that, this box here that says book with Cruise Complete launch doesn't just magically appear. You call Archer, and it takes them about 30 seconds for you to get signed up. So once you're ready, call them and they will get you set up pretty quickly. And then you're going to be able to see where you can select a customer. You can do it without a customer. Today, my presentation is going to show you how powerful Cruise Complete can be, where you can build your clients' profiles and you can use them within your itineraries, and it makes it so much easier to book. And we're going to select a customer, and then it's going to ask you if this is the one you want to use, and you're going to say yes and keep going. And then we're going to have our search criteria. And the reason I'm just running through this is this PowerPoint is for you to have after the meeting. We are recording this, so this will also be posted as a recording, but I also like to have pictures. So you put in your time frames, you put in how many days. The great thing about Cruise Complete is that you can compare up to 4 different cruise lines or cruises at the same time. So now, if you go into Royal Caribbean, you're looking at all of the Royal Caribbean cruises, and then you have to get out of that one and go into Celebrity, and you're continuing to go in and out of different suppliers. This allows you to do this at one shot. Then you can select your destinations. You can number of cabins, you can do up to 4, whereas many of the suppliers you can only do up to 2. So that's another advantage of using Cruise Complete. And then you just click search, and then you start to see the different options. It's always going to start with the lower, excuse me, the lower number of nights first, and then it's going to stay with the same supplier. So you see 5 nights Royal Caribbean, then 7 nights Royal Caribbean. And look, you have 726 matches. Now, if you want to bring that number down, because that is still a lot to look at, you can go back to refining your search. But in the beginning, when you're just learning and you're just doing this, it's really okay to keep it as a broad search criteria. So in this case, I chose one from Royal Caribbean, one from Norwegian, one from Princess, and one from Celebrity Cruise. You see the dates are very similar. You can look at the itineraries. I'm going to show you when we get into Cruise Complete. When you view this itinerary, it's a great tool that it shows you exactly on the map where your ports are. You also see the actual cruise ship, how long the cruise is. On the bottom part of that, you see the prices. So you can, at a visual, look at prices and you're like, wow, this seems kind of expensive. This was the Viking one. What I would like to mention on Viking, I'm sorry, this is not Viking, this is Norwegian. Norwegian often has buy one, get one free flights, and this price includes flights. Royal Caribbean does not include flights, and most of the others don't either. You'll have to include them separately. So don't get too freaked out about Norwegian having a little bit more expensive flights. So this is the map I was telling you about. It tells you exactly where you're going. It also gives you a itinerary and what you're going to be doing by day and how long you're going to be there. And then once you select which one you wanted to do, because I selected my client that I already built, I was able to select these names, and you'll see how I can do that in a moment. And then you can select up to 20 rate codes, which is very awesome. So you select the rate codes that you want, and then you get the different. So across the top here are the rate codes that you selected. And then here are all the prices for each one of those. Okay, and then you select whichever cabin you want, and then you hit continue. I think I chose Ocean View. What I like to do when I'm booking a cruise for a client and I'm looking at the deck, I like to book midship port side. So that means the left side of the ship around midship. That's typically the most comfortable from a seasickness perspective. And that's what I personally like to do. And that's how I like to cruise myself. If it's not available, it's not available, but I at least try. So you can see that all the options that are available, and then you can select which one you want. And then you get to the pricing. When you get to the pricing, and we're going to show you this in just a moment, you want to open up your options. I do also want to mention this NCFF. What that means is non-commissionable cruise fare. And you see that is 0, and that's a fantastic number. Norwegian just started this recently. And there are many, or most other cruise lines have some non-commissionable fares, meaning Royal Caribbean does not pay you on any of the excursions that you do, does not really pay you on travel protection either. So again, it's about getting the right cruise for your client, but at the same time, you can also look at ways that it's going to help you make money. If it's the right cruise for the client and you can make a little bit more money, then that's great. Up here, you can see this is the amount of the cruise of the commission that I would get. And let's see. Oh, and air, you'll see there's a price here of $22.18, and there's 0 for the second one. So that's basically buy one, get one free airfare, which is pretty darn good. Which is why I said it looked like it was expensive, but when you compared, like if you went and done this with the Royal, which you could have done, your price would have come out to probably $7,000, $8,000. And then our total price was like 10,000. I don't think I got that screenshot. Let's see. Oh yeah, 10,208. But again, ours included flights and the Royal Caribbean did not. So any questions before I actually flip over into Agent Universe? Okay. I know I went through that pretty fast. Okay, so when you first, let me move my pictures up here onto another screen. So when you sign into Agent Universe, this is what you see. You have booking tools, suppliers, programs. Under suppliers, uh, there's all kinds of information here. Definitely get in here and explore booking tools. This is their Cruise Complete, marketing, training, etc. So I've used Cruise Complete quite a bit. So it is over here for me. Click on Cruise Complete. And if you guys put something in the chat and if I'm just continuing to talk, please just stop me and if you have any questions. Okay, so we're going to launch this. So I know I want to select my customer. I'm going to choose cruise. And then I'm going to select my customer. So my client wants to take her daughter on a cruise next summer for her graduation present from graduating from college. So she's looking for, let's look at April 2027 through June 19th, 2027. We're looking at about 11 days, about the max she wants to do. Destinations, here's where you can help narrow down what you're looking for. So I know that they want to do Italy and Greece. So here's Greece. They don't really have Italy per se, but that's the Mediterranean. And let's do Europe, Western, because they talked about Spain and France. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, and then ports of call, if they have any specific ones, any cruise lines. Now you can just look at Royal Caribbean or just whatever, but one of the beauties of Cruise Complete is that you can compare different cruise lines at the same time. So we're going to leave that blank for now. We only want one cabin, and then we're going to hit search. So here you'll see, so we have 796 matches. Wow, that's a lot. So we may want to, again, change our search. Let's change this to 9 to 11 days. So let's bring up, let's do 8 to 11 and modify our search. And you see it brought it way down to 148 matches. So let's look at Royal Caribbean, typically comes up first. So here it gives you Portugal, Portugal, Portugal. So they weren't really too interested in Portugal. Spain, a couple of things in Spain, Morocco, okay. Let's see, and you see here that which ship it is. And when you see this, this means it's a different week, but this is pretty much the same cruise. This one here that leaves on July 5th. It is Spain, Italy, Greece, Croatia, and back to Italy. That sounds kind of interesting, and that's about the time frame she wanted to go. So let's just click on that one, and you'll see down here. Okay, now we're just going to continue to look. Here's another one. Barcelona, Italy, Rome, Amalfi Coast. Oh, I love Amalfi Coast. So we're going to unselect that one. Because if you're going to be in that area, you need to go to Amalfi Coast. Okay. Because you can only do 4. That's why you want to be selective. Okay, now we're done with Royal, and you'll see it switches right to Norwegian. So Norwegian, this is actually the one that she ended up choosing. So definitely I'm going to choose that one. But it is Spain, France, Italy, Greece, Montenegro, and Croatia and Italy. So let's see. So we got some Norwegian there, Norwegian still. Oceania Cruises, I'm not signed up for them. And so I'm not going to choose those. I'm not sure if they're one of our cruises or one of our cruise lines that we use. I've honestly not yet researched that. So we're going to pass over those. Let's see what other cruise lines we get. Okay, here's a Princess Cruise. Denmark. Okay, Norway. They really weren't interested in that. Okay, here's Italy, France, Italy. That one looks kind of interesting. May 1. Let's see. Athens, Greece, Croatia. If you're looking at these two, the price difference is kind of a big deal. The dates are closer to what she was looking for. The itinerary looks pretty good. So let's choose this one as our third one. And then you get Viking. Vikings do tend to be on the expensive side, more luxurious, but they also include a lot of things like airfare and dining packages and drink packages, etc. So let's see. Let's choose this one. Okay. So we have 4 different cruise lines. The Royal, Norwegian, Princess, and Viking. You see the itineraries compared to each other side by side, which is really cool. And then this is where you click on View Itinerary. And you literally can see the path that this takes. This looks like a really nice cruise. Definitely gets you through a lot of places. It gives you every day how long you're in the port. Also, you can look up here to promotions. So there's a $50 onboard credit per stateroom. So let's look at this one, 9 nights. So again, takes you around, but now you're coming back up the other side of Italy, and you're hitting a couple sites over there. This is showing you that it's departing one port and arriving, and your arrival port is a different one. If it's the same one, it'll be, it'll be split like that. So again, gives you timing, things that you're going to be there. Let's look at our promotions. They have a $200 onboard credit, that's really nice. Okay, real quick, let's look at Princess. So it's kind of got you, goes from here to Rome and then back around again, and then several different places there. And it also gives you the time, and this is actually even like an overnight in your 8 to 6 here in one city, Messina, and then you have Palermo. So again, pretty interesting itinerary there. I always like to put these in my quotes for the client if I think this is something that they're interested, if that's what they told me. Let's look at their promotions. Okay, so this is a ship credit per stateroom of $75, and they get chocolate covered strawberries. Well, how cool is that? I don't think I've ever seen that one, but that's pretty cool. And then we'll look at this itinerary. So this is really up and down the coast on the western side or eastern side, depending on which country you're looking at. So you're starting in Venice and you're going to a lot of different places, and you're really, really hitting Greece. So, well, let's see if they have any promotions. They don't have any promotions. Okay. So in this case, now that you're looking at everything and you've really looked at, compared each one, we're going to go into this Norwegian. Okay, and you'll see how quickly I can breeze through this because I already have my clients already set up as their itinerary. I mean, as far as their profiles, they're flying or they live out of the Tampa Bay area, fly in and out of Tampa, and then you can continue. Now you can select, I said before, up to 20 of these rate codes at a time. So where it's going to look, and I always use Chat GPT or Copilot or Gemini on what these actually mean. So we're going to choose air promo, reduced rate, this all for, and let's see. Okay. You can choose several. I'm just, for simplicity and time's sake, I'm just going to choose a few. Okay, now you can see the cabin rates based on the promotion that you chose. So when you're looking at air promo and NCL air promo, and then you have all four, this is free at sea, the bar dining package and internet and shore. This is a really good one because it's basically saying you have a bar package, all drinks, all inclusive, dining package, internet, and some shore credits. So I like this one. You can see it's a little bit more expensive, but it also, if you chose this one and then you added a bar package on top of it or dining package, you'll see that that really increases quite a bit. So we are going to choose this one, ocean view with a round window. Or we can even do large ocean view with round window. Let's go with this one. And then you choose continue. So on deck 5, we have about 27 cabins that are available. So like I said, I like to choose midship. So take a little quick look there. We're running out of time. So I'm going to choose 5164. Please continue. So it tells you that 29 minutes to complete the booking. You see your non-commissionable cruise fare is 0. Let's look at our options. So this means pre and post transfer. So these are when you fly into cities and fly out, these are free from getting you from the airport to the cruise and the cruise to the airport. And you have your beverage service and your dining package. And you also see air, which is at, it says shows on the first one, 2218, and 0 on the second one. So basically buy one, get one free. So that, looks like a pretty decent price. But before I ever book anything for the client, you see this is already pre-filled for me because I had already built out their profile. And so that information is there. I want to now add travel protection, especially when you're booking and your client's going to be out of the country. I like to encourage them to do travel protection, one, because it helps with if you have to cancel. But one of the other major reasons is medical. It offers medical insurance. If you travel outside the United States, your Blue Cross Blue Shield card does not work. So if you get sick or injured, it's really good for you to have travel protection when you are traveling outside the country. It also helps with lost luggage. In fact, I took a cruise for my birthday on Virgin Voyage, and we drove down from Tampa to Miami, and the cab driver left my bag with all my cute clothes on the curb on in Miami Airport. Got to the cruise, went to check in, and my bag was not there. I got reimbursed for the money I had to spend for clothes because I had travel protection. That was the best ever. That was awesome. Other than not having my cute clothes, which just really proved I overpacked. But anyway, so here you see you have now travel protection, you have air, a little under $10,000, and it's a low $250 deposit fee. And then you literally can come down and you hit continue. And just like look over everything again, make sure all your options are there, make sure your insurance are there, and make sure you've got the right itinerary, the right people. And then initially, I don't have the booking confirmation sent to the client. I have it sent to me. I would check it out, make sure everything is okay, accept the terms, and then I click booking on. Now, I'm not going to do that this time because I've actually booked for this client, this exact cruise. So what questions can I answer for you in the last few minutes? I know I went through that pretty quickly, but you see how easy it is, one, to compare different cruise lines, as well as actually going through the booking. Let's see, do I have something in the chat here? Yes, you can, and you absolutely can. You can put TBD, and there is a spot. Like I said, I chose my customer's name, but yeah, if you can do that, and there is an option right before the names that say create with TBD. Yes, you can do that. Especially if you're just, playing and you're looking for a quote per se. You don't have to have the client's names. What else? Was this helpful? Yes, you can send a quote to the client. And what I do, let's see, like I said, I don't want to book this one. There was a place that you can send a quote to client. So yes, you can do that. What I typically do, especially if I think they're really going to like it, is I will click booking. I'll show you, go back to my home. And because if they don't like it, nothing bad happens. If you see here, there were several that I booked because I thought she might like them. And then I create a quote from that and I had to and compare them. And then again, we finally ended up on the one that she chose. Um, but yes, you can book them and then you can go back in and view. So here's a TBD1. This is one when I was playing when I was just looking at flights. So this is, if you book it, nothing's set in stone until your client pays the deposit. What other questions can I answer? So make sure you get signed up for Agent Universe. There are tons of options there and tools for you to use. I see like one more question. I know it's really a lot of fun to use. I know when I finally got through my head that I needed to try this tool, I really was kicking myself that I spent so much time in Royal Caribbean comparing cruises within Royal Caribbean and then comparing them to Norwegian, then Princess, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great time saver. And you can even use it for the same like Royal Caribbean. It's so much easier to say, oh, these are the 4 different options in Royal Caribbean with the 4 different itineraries. And it's honestly easier to book in Cruise Complete than most of the suppliers themselves. That is what I found. Okay, any other questions I can answer today? You're very welcome. I wish you a lot of luck. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me via messenger or email, or I think I have all my information on the PowerPoint that I'm going to post to the several message boards that we have. So I'll have the recording of this presentation as well as the PowerPoint document. So I wish you a lot of luck, especially those who've just started. I know it's a lot, but just take your time, one bite at a time. And there's tons of training and there's tons of support from our team. So everyone wants you to be successful. So no worries. Yeah, it is a lot. Feeding through the fire hose for sure. Well, you're very welcome. You guys have a great afternoon. I appreciate your time.